Hi mamas, welcome back. You're here week 3 in the Up Dog Yoga Mama studio. Let's go ahead and get into it. So as usual, you've got blocks or books, bolsters or a cushion, baby, maybe. If you do have your bub, we are going to include them a bit more today than we have in the first 2 weeks. Again, that's just an option. I am all about if baby is happy or if baby is sleeping, leave them where they at. Otherwise, if you want to engage with them, if they're feeling a bit playful, if they're feeling a bit needy, bring them in. Let's do it all together. So if you've got bub, if not, we're still going to start in butterfly position. Now, if you do have bub, you're going to place their head on your feet, and you'll have their feet running towards your groin. And we're just going to do some pelvic floor work from here. And so having baby here, if they're feeling a little bit needy, or if you're wanting to kind of flirt with them a little bit, you can be giving them some chest massage while we do some pelvic floor work. So that would be bringing your peace fingers and running the peace fingers into a heart shape on the chest. So you could be doing that while you do your pelvic floor work. All right, let's do it. So we're relaxed in our pelvic floor to begin. So pelvic floor is soft, belly is soft. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, we're going to lift that pelvic floor up. And then inhale, relax. Let's do that again. Breathe in, relax. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, relax. So this time, these next 2 times, I want you to lift the pelvic floor up, and then I want you to hug the belly button in. I want you to also notice that when you lift the pelvic floor up, notice if you're squeezing the bum cheeks at all. Try not to squeeze the bum cheeks. Try to just lift that line between the vagina and the bum. Try just to lift that line up. So really focusing on that muscle memory there. All right. So take a breath in. And then we exhale, lift pelvic floor, hug the belly button in, and relax. Exhale, lift pelvic floor up, hug belly button in, and relax. All right, so now we're gonna take this up a level. So we're going to do some pelvic floor elevator lifts. So we're gonna lift our pelvic floor up 1/3, 2/3, all of the way up. So slowly riding that elevator up a skyscraper, if you will. So we're gonna lift it up slowly, and we're gonna relax it slowly, but we'll do that in 2 different sets. So we'll do 2 sets of riding our elevator up. So take a breath in, relax, and then exhale, lift that pelvic floor up just slightly. And then we'll lift it up 2/3 of the way, and just holding that amount of strength. Lift it all the way up, holding it at the top, and breathe in, fully relax. All right, so we're going to do that once more. Take a breath in, and then exhale, lift that elevator up 1/3. Lift it up 2/3. Lift that pelvic floor up all the way, feeling that strength, that girdle activated, and relax that on down. So now we're going to reverse that. So we'll lift the pelvic floor up completely, and then we'll work on slowly releasing it. So as you probably practice through your pregnancy, especially if you did any pregnancy yoga, you learned that it was just as important to activate that pelvic floor as it is to relax the pelvic floor. So we have to know to turn on our muscles and to turn off our muscles and all of the supporting bits of our muscles as well. So we're going to practice that now. So take a breath in, relax. Exhale, lift that pelvic floor up as much as you can. Now, we're just going to lower that pelvic floor 1/3 of the way down. Lower it just that little bit more. And fully release that pelvic floor. That's it. And we'll just take a regular round of breath in between. All right, breathe in. Exhale, lift that pelvic floor up. Now slowly release. That little bit more. And fully relax that pelvic floor. All right, good work. Now we're gonna come into a forward fold. Great time to flirt with the baby if you've got them there. So have elbows onto your knees, a nice C shape in the spine, so a yin style forward fold. We're not too concerned with the alignment here. I'm more concerned with you just getting a little bit of a release through the hips here and a stretch through the groin here. So you can, again, maybe give baby a tickle, maybe give baby a kiss, whatever works for you guys. Again, if you don't have bub, you're just in that nice forward fold shape with your butterfly legs. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath. And then we'll roll up, place bub off to the side. We'll come into legs straight now. Reach the arms up overhead. We're focusing on our Tadasana alignment. So legs are straight, feet are flexed, outside of the legs are long. Reach those arms up, breath in, forward fold with a long spine and a flat back. So hands are grabbing onto the outside of your feet, your shins, your knees, wherever you can keep spine long and the upper back flat. Slightly go forward that little bit more, feeling that after a couple moments, you can go a little bit deeper, maybe. Once that spine starts to curve though, that's your sweet spot. One more breath. And rolling it on up. Come to sit onto your heels. So sitting back onto your heels. And I'm just going to turn to the side here for a moment because we're going to come into a toe squat. So to come into a toe squat, you hug those toes underneath, and then you're going to flick the little toes out so that they join the party as well. I'm going to come back to face you now though. Now you've got a couple of options in your toe squat. If it starts to feel like too much, try not to come all the way out of it. Try just to lean forward. So if you come forward, that's going to lessen the stretch. If you come back, that's going to intensify the stretch. But what I would really like to do is add some arms into this today. So if you can, join me by adding some arms to this, and that'll help take your focus off of what's happening down here with the feet. Reach the arms up overhead, breath in. Eagle arms, we're gonna wrap the right elbow underneath the left. Wrap and wind the forearms until the palms of your hands touch and lift those elbows up to shoulder height. Relax those shoulders down, lengthen that lower back down. So we're taking that big arch out of the lower back. So here we're releasing tension from our upper back with our eagle arms. If palms don't touch, give yourself a hug. Just have the right elbow underneath. Find one more breath in and out. Reach the arms up overhead. And wrap and wind the other side. So the left elbow goes underneath the right, either giving yourself a hug or finding those eagle arms. Palms touching, thumbs pointing towards your face. Whether it doesn't matter if you're in the hug or eagle arms, you've got elbows up to shoulder height. That ensures that tension's being let go of out of the upper back. And reach those arms up overhead. Exhale the hands down in front of you, slowly coming onto the tops of your feet, maybe even pausing with feet up in the air a little bit. So this is what it looks like behind me right now. My feet are actually up off of the mat. Just for a moment, and then bring those tops of the feet down. That's it. And now we'll come into a child's pose. I'm going to give you the option today. I haven't really demonstrated that yet this course. With knees together, arms out beside you. This is a really nice, soothing variation of child's pose. And also, as your hips start to come back into alignment, child's pose with knees wide might not even be a comfortable option for you. So this one might be a more obtainable child's pose for you for now. I find it super soothing personally. We'll take a few more rounds of breath here. It's the first time that you're closed off onto your mat today. So I'd really like you, as you're closed off here, to take a moment to acknowledge the space and the time that you've given yourself. Whether you've got a little one or two or three around you right now, or whether you've got the whole space to yourself, you've made it to your mat and you've made it here for you. So let's make this practice as much about you as we can. Come into your Ujjayi breathing.
And then let's make our way into tabletop.
So in your tabletop, we've got shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. You can have bub at the top of your mat. And if you don't have bub, bonus points for you. That's great. So tabletop though, and your cat and cow is a really great way to engage with baby if you do have them. So you can play a bit of peekaboo with baby if you've got them on the mat. We'll begin by inhaling into cow. So belly relaxes, shoulders roll up. You look away from baby, looking up to the sky. And then peekaboo, come into cat, back looking down at bub for a moment. And then let the eyes look in between your knees or up to your belly. Inhale, peekaboo, back to baby as you find your way in to your cow shape, looking up to the ceiling. Exhale, peekaboo to bub. Into your cat back, separating those shoulder blades as you powerfully push the floor away with the hands. 3 more rounds. Let's move with the breath here. Breathe in and out. Twice more. Beautiful Ujjayi breath, shaping each pose. And coming into neutral spine. So pointer fingers pointing forward, fingers spreading wide. Find your way into your first down dog. So toes tuck, hips lift up high, and feel free to walk that dog out, wag the tail. Do whatever movement feels good for you here as you get into this down dog shape. Feeling into the body here. All right. Let's get into our sun salutations. So starting with sun salutation A, let's step the feet forward. Come into a halfway lift. Flatten the back, lengthen the spine, and forward fold. Let's have a bit of a bend in our knees here, especially for this first one. On the next breath in, we'll start to roll up into your tall mountain, stretching arms up overhead, big breath in. Open mouth, hands to heart space, big breath out. Tall mountain, inhale up. Forward fold, exhale, fingers down to toes. Halfway lift, extend the spine, flatten the back. Bring the hands down to your mat. Step it back into high plank. Excuse me. Stay here for 3 rounds of breath. Either knees are lifted or knees are down onto the mat. Pelvis is scooping up to your lower ribs. Back of neck is lengthening out long. Heels are lengthening back towards the back of your room. You're here for 1 more inhale and then slightly come forward. Then start hugging the elbows in towards the body as you lower down onto the mat. Baby cobra to begin. Head lifts, tops of shoulders lift, shoulder caps roll back, and down dog, tuck the toes. Push back towards your knees, hips lift high, breathe it out. Step forward, halfway lift, inhale, forward fold and exhale. Tall mountain, inhale, roll up, forward fold, exhale, flow down. Chair pose, inhale, reach the arms up. Sit deep into your chair pose, put the weight into the heels, broaden through the chest. Arms are framing your face, or hands are at heart space, wherever you feel like. Shoulders are relaxed down your back. Breathe in, forward fold, and breathe out. Tall mountain, roll up, reach up. Hands to heart space. Put the hands onto your hips. Take a big step back with that left leg, coming into your high lunge. So big step back with the left leg, right foot is forward. Now reach the arms up overhead. Square the hips off. Relax the shoulders down. Lengthen that lower back as much as you can down to the mat by activating that lower core here. So we're protecting our back by creating that strong core. Stay with me for 1 more round of breath. Bring hands down to your hips. Step this left foot up to meet the right. Tall mountain. Hands to heart space. Hands onto your hips. Right leg takes a big step back into that high lunge. Square the hips off, reach the arms up overhead. Again, they could be at heart space as well. They could even stay onto your hips for a bit more stability. Going through a little bit of a different variation of a sun sal today. Just like to spice it up a bit. Stay for one more round of breath. Breathing in. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step that left foot back, high plank. Take an inhale. Slightly come forward, then lower down. Maybe knees support you as you come all the way down. Full cobra. Lift the whole chest up. Try and kiss the shoulder blades together behind you. Lower core is a bit active here. And then down dog. Tuck, push back towards your knees. Tuck the toes. Lift those hips up high. Let's do one more of those. Step forward, halfway lift. Breathe in. Forward fold. Breathe out. Tall mountain. If baby wants, you can lift them up to the sky and bring hands down to heart space. Tall mountain, reach arms up high. Leave the arms lifted. Chair pose. Stay with me for one more round of breath, deepening into that squat. Breathe in. Forward fold. Breathe out. Tall mountain, inhale, reach up. Hands down to heart space. Hands onto hips. Left leg steps back. High lunge with the right foot forward. Inhale, reach those arms up. Deepen into the lunge. Breathe in. Exhale, hands down to your hips. Step the left foot up to meet the right. Tall mountain. Exhale, hands down through heart space, then onto your hips. Right foot steps back. Woo! High lunge. Reach those arms up. Breathing in. Vinyasa begins. Hands come down. Left foot steps back. High to low plank. Maybe setting up for up dog. Hovering in your low plank. Then push the chest through. Leave hips and thighs off of the mat if you're practicing up dog. And down dog. Stay here for a round of breath. And then child's pose. You can come into that knees wide, or you could have knees together and arms down beside you. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. And after one more breath, let's make our way back into downward dog. Again, use that tabletop to set yourself up so that you know your hands and your feet are the correct distance apart from one another. Tuck those toes when you're ready. Lift those hips up high. Getting that length through the side of your body, getting that release through your shoulders, getting that energy all throughout the body here. And after one more round of breath, let's step forward into that halfway lift. Breathe in. Forward fold. Breathe out. Chair pose. Leave those feet hip width. Arms lift up or hands are at heart space. Shoulders relax down. Lower back lengthens down. Weight goes into the heels. Go a little bit deeper here. Stay for one more round of breath. Hold for the inhale. Forward fold. Uttasana on the exhale. Halfway lift. Have fingertips down onto the mat. Left leg steps back into your runner's lunge. So we're strong here through the core. We're broad through the collarbones. We are breathing. And revolve, lunge. Relieve the left hand down. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Again, you could always have a block underneath that left hand. Feeling that lift, feeling that right hip staying hugged in, feeling that right knee staying over the right ankle. Stay with me for one more round of breath. Inhale. Exhale that right hand down. That's it. Now we're going to lift up into your crescent lunge. Reach those arms up overhead. Nice one. I'm going to stay here for 3 rounds of breath, getting really nice and strong. When you're in your lunges, I want you to really push that right knee towards the outside of your right foot. Stay up high on the ball of your back foot when you're in a crescent lunge. Stay with me for one more inhale. Warrior two as you exhale. So warrior twos are a great place to have bub. You could have them on this right front hip is where I like to place my bub. Otherwise, your left hip is also an okay option. Keep your free arm out straight, whichever one that is. If you don't have bub, again, good on ya. Arms are both out straight, arms are in one straight line. Imagine that front knee as a door opening towards the outside of the foot. Push the blade of the back foot into the mat. That's it, deepen into the lunge. Straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Inhale, stretch up to the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Arms come out wide, hips push back, hinging over that front hip as you reach to the front of your room. Keep on reaching. When you can't reach anymore, drop that right hand down inside the right leg, reach that left arm up. Now, a couple of options could be happening here. You could be up on your fingertips. You could be flat down onto the mat. You could have a block underneath your right hand at any height. What I want you to have happening in your body is that left shoulder is reaching up. That left shoulder cap shouldn't be dipping down. So if you see that left shoulder cap dipping down, come up higher, either with fingers or a block. So strong, straight lines here. This pose is the complete opposite of holding a baby. So embrace that length that's happening here for one more round of breath. Breathing in, bring that left hand down to meet the right. Turn to the left side of your mat. Now, we're gonna grab bub, if you have them, and roll up, have them at your chest. Just again, we're going through some fun options of how to engage bub in your yoga practice. You don't have to be doing that. If you don't have bub, you've got hands at heart space or hands on your hips. We're gonna do hip circles here. So we're gonna start circling to the left to begin. 3 circles on each side, getting some movement back in that hip joint and releasing tension from that hip joint. 1 more circle. And we're gonna circle it back the other way. No one's looking at you. Remember, you're in your house by yourself, or at least with just your family. No one's videoing you right now. Get some big old circles happening. That's it. Now holding bub, if you've got them, from behind their shoulder blades, will come into a forward fold. So you're holding bub behind their shoulder blades. I'm just gonna grab my little demonstrator. Holding bub behind their shoulder blades, hinge over the hips and come into that forward fold. And you can swing them back and forth or side to side here as a fun little engagement activity with them. If you don't have bub, we're working to bring hands in line with your feet, hips lifting up high. So we're getting a nice stretch here through the hamstring, some really nice space here through the lower back. Keep the shoulders relaxed from the ears. If tripod headstand is a part of your practice, go for it. If you're working to get the top of your head flat onto the mat and it's not quite there, you can widen the stance and then get the top of your head down. If it's down and you want to work on the stretch, bring the feet closer together and then work to get the head down. We'll stay for 2 more breaths. Bring hands onto your hips, roll up to standing. Preparing for goddess squats, we'll flare our toes out to the side just slightly. If you've got bub, holding them at your chest. If you don't have bub, hands are at heart space here. Straighten the legs on the inhale. Exhale, goddess squats. When you come into the squat, push the knees out to the blades of your feet. Lengthen that spine down to the mat. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale into the squat. For 3, for 2, for 1. Holding here. If you don't have bub, join me in doing an open twist. Hands come down onto your knees. Drop that right shoulder down. Look over that left shoulder. Other side. Come back through center. Straighten the legs. Hands onto your hips. Turn back to the front of your mat for pyramid pose. So the right toes track directly forward. Widen the feet so that they're on railroad tracks. Step this left foot halfway up the mat. Both toes tracking forward. Arms come behind you for either reverse prayer. If you have a gap between your palms, grab opposite elbows. Roll the shoulders back. Micro back bend on the inhale. Hinge and bow on the exhale. So this pose is all about shoulders and a little about a couple of other things. So first, let's think about our shoulders. Shoulders rolling back, shoulder blades hugging together, shoulders in one line. Then let's think about the hips. Hips are in one line. So we've got the right hip hugging back, the left hip hugging forward. Feel yourself making that adjustment. Now let's lengthen out through the spine. So now it's a little bit about a hamstring. So the stretch is happening in your hamstring, whether you really feel it there or not. But the main thing is the shoulders. You can keep on bowing down towards that hamstring as long as the shoulders stay rolling back. Especially if you're in reverse prayer, palms of the hands have to keep touching. That's your big indicator that you're in the right alignment. All right. Rolling up. That was a long spiel. Step that left foot up to meet the right. Tall mountain. Breath in. Forward fold. Breath out. We're going to make our way into vinyasa. So hands down, feet back. High to low plank. Cobra or up dog. And down dog. All right. We'll bring that all onto the left side. And let's step forward. Come into that halfway lift. And forward fold. Chair pose. Finding 2 rounds of breath in your chair pose. Breathing in. Forward fold. Breathing out. Halfway lift. Fingertips down onto the mat. Right leg steps back into your runner's lunge. Feel like you're in those runner's blocks. So you're not collapsed down on the leg. You're getting ready to launch somewhere. You're getting ready to go. Core is strong. Breathe in. Breathe out. Revolved lunge. Right hand stays down. Left arm stays lifted. Left hip stays hugging in. Remember, you could always be up on a block or a book underneath that right hand. Feel lift. Feel yourself reaching up to try and touch that ceiling above. Breathing in. Exhale that hand down. Inhale, crescent lunge. Relax the shoulders. Find your 3 rounds of breath in your crescent lunge shape. Inhale. Warrior 2 on the exhale. Again, a great pose for bub, either on the front hip or the back hip. The free arm is straight. If both arms are free, they're in one strong straight line. One thing to make sure in your warrior 2 is you've got the back knee and the back toes trekking in the same direction. That protects your knee joint. All right. One more round of breath. Straighten the front leg. Reverse triangle. Paint the ceiling with those left fingers. And Trikonasana triangle pose. Hinge and reach to get into the pose. Maybe the back of the hand is against your shin. Maybe it's on a block. Maybe you're even grabbing that front big toe with your peace fingers. We're staying here for 2 more rounds of breath because I love it so much. Breathing in. Exhale the right hand down to meet the left. Turn to the right side of your room. Setting up for your forward fold. So this time, we're going to start in a halfway lift. And you're going to interlace hands behind you. Straighten out through the elbows. If you can't keep the arms straight and the hands interlaced, grab a strap or a shirt and you pull it apart in between the hands. Now we've got our shoulder stretch happening. Let's bow into the fold. That's it. So you can play around with letting shoulders relax down to your ears or actively rolling them back, just seeing which one works for you today, all while staying with that Ujjayi breathing. I'm trying to get the backs of your hands to point in the direction of the wall in front of you.
Legs are really strong and engaged here, giving you that support to give lightness into the top half of your body. All right, bring the hands down in front of you. Come into that halfway lift and bring hands onto your waist. Roll up to standing. I'm going to turn around to face you. You stay as you are. All right, coming into those hip circles once more. This time, let's start circling to the right. So big circles, 3 on each side. So fun fact, if you had a C-section or any other major surgery, that room's real cold. And that coldness can get trapped into the body. Circle to the left now, 3 times. And when that cold gets trapped in the body, it creates tension. And one way to help that cold release from the body is to work it out of the joints, doing things like hip circles, ankle rolls, things like that. All right. So hands on your hips or hands at heart space. Actually, everyone hands at heart space. Setting up for goddess pose now. Toes flare out. Now we're going to stay here. Breathe in. Exhale, goddess squat. We've got 5. Inhale up, exhale down. For 3, for 2, for 1. Holding here, goddess arms now. Palms of hands are flat against the ceiling, elbows are bent, shoulders rolling back. Stay here if you can. Stay with me. You can bounce a little bit. You can sway a little bit, but we're here. We're strong. You've got this. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands to heart space, straighten the legs. Hands onto your hips. Turn to the front of your mat. Left foot's pointing forward. Right foot steps halfway up. Widen those feet so that they're hip width. Setting up for a pyramid pose, bringing hands behind you for reverse prayer or grab opposite elbows. Micro back bend on the inhale. Hinge and bow on the exhale. So remembering everything that we talked about on the other side applies to this. A lot about shoulders, a good amount about the hips, and a little about hamstrings. All right, bring those hands down to frame that foot. Step that right foot up, halfway lift, and forward fold. Tall mountain, inhale up, forward fold, exhale down. Coming into your very last vinyasa. So start in your halfway lift, bring the hands down, step or drop the feet back, lightly landing high to low plank. Cobra or up dog, and down dog. All right, let's take 2 rounds of breath. And come down onto the mat. So we're going to lie onto your backs, doing just a little bit of core work. So whenever we lie down on our mats, it's a great time to bring Bub along. So if you've got Bub, you can bring them onto your chest. We're going to do our heel taps again. So we're starting with knees bent, heels lifted. So today, we're going to do 5 heel taps on each side, and then we're going to try a new exercise. So either legs are bent. Again, if you have ab separation, please keep them bent. If you're wanting to build a little bit more strength and it's safe for you to do so, then you can straighten the legs. 5 taps on each side. Let's go. Breathe in. Exhale, lower the right heel. Inhale up. And left down on the breath out. Left up on the breath in. For 4. Left side. For 3, for 2, for 1. And bend the knees, bring the feet down, come up to a seat. So we're going to give boat pose a go today, but safe boat pose for our postnatal bodies. So we're going to start with the right leg down and the left leg up and the arms up. Sit up tall. Now you can stay here. You can come up onto the toes. of that right foot. Again, if you have any ab separation, this is good. If you don't, see if you can bring that right toe up just a little bit. If you're feeling okay, see if you can bring that right knee up. All right, let's bring that foot down. Good job. Comfortable seat. Shake it out. Let's go on to the other side. So now we're gonna bring left foot is down, right foot is up, arms are out straight. So see how you're feeling here as you sit up tall, lift that core in, lift that energy up through the top of your head. Come on to the toes of your left foot. See how you're feeling here. Now see if you can bring that left foot up to meet the right. Sit up tall. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, exhale, feet down, comfortable seat. Oh, let's come to lie onto your mat. Recline butterfly. Grab that bolster or your pillow. Have it long like your spine. Knees are wide, bottoms of your feet are touching. Come to lie onto your back. Arms relax down. Let's take some big breaths here. Breathe in. Open mouth, release that heat. Once more. Let all that tension go. A great pose to have a little one snuggled up on your chest. A great pose to just relax by yourself and to cool the body down. Always remembering, no matter where the flow takes you, no matter if you need to stop and feed baby, no matter if you need to stop and do anything else around the house for anyone else, stay with your breath. This is your time to give back to yourself. Make this about you. When you get off your mat, you get to share that energy with everyone else, but right now let's fill up your cup with your breath. And take just a little bit longer here. Getting that space all through the chest, letting the shoulder blades just passively melt over the bolster. If at any time having the knees wide feels uncomfortable on your hips, you can place blocks underneath either thigh, and it's very normal for it to just feel tense in one hip and not the other. So you might only need a block underneath one side. All right, let's roll out of this. Coming off of the bolster, you can come onto the right or the left side, whatever works for your space. And then we'll come back onto your backs. Remove the bolster from the mat. Hug the knees into your chest. We're gonna do some supine twists. Just some nice easy ones today. Actually, before we do a supine twist, let's do a hip stretch. Bring that left foot down and then cross the right heel, the right ankle over that left thigh, just below your knee. Now you can stay here, or you can hug that left knee up into your chest, holding underneath that knee. You can use that right elbow to push that right knee out. So we did some powerful stuff today, so it's really nice to give back into those hips that give us so much support and strength throughout our day and definitely throughout our yoga practice. We'll take 2 more breaths. And then switching sides, let's bring that right foot down, cross the left ankle over, and then you can stay here just pushing that left knee out with the left hand, or you can grab the right knee from behind and hug that right knee up into your chest. Hugging it, the further you hug it into the chest, the deeper the stretch is going to be. Giving both knees a good squeeze into the chest now. Drop the knees over to the left Looking to the right, take 2 breaths on each side of your supine twist today. And to the right. Again, looking away from the knees, keeping that shoulder down onto the mat, the ground. And rolling back onto your backs. Setting up for your Shavasana now. Today I'm going to give you the option of waterfall. So if you'd like to join me in waterfall, otherwise you can lay flat onto your back, maybe the bolster underneath your knees, maybe nothing. Maybe your Shavasana is breastfeeding a baby or bottle feeding a baby. If that's the case, maybe give yourself a seat against the wall, close the eyes down, and just breathe as you feed that little one. All right, if you're joining me in waterfall, we come up the wall perpendicular and then lift those legs up. In whatever Shavasana position you're setting yourself up in, we're going to actively relax. Forehead, jaw, shoulders, fingers, knees and toes. Whole body relaxation here. Now, if you've got some time up your sleeve, go ahead and pause this video and relish in your Shavasana experience for as long as is good for you. Otherwise, we'll be here for about 7 more breaths. Starting to bring awareness back into each inhale and every exhale. As you're ready, slide the legs off of the wall onto either side that works in your space. Hold here. To a comfortable to close the practice. Sitting up tall, hands to heart space, shoulders relaxed down, crown of head reaches up to the sky. Leave hands at heart space as always to signify compassion. Compassion that starts with ourselves and is then able to extend out to our little ones and those around us. Namaste, mamas.